This is a continued discussion from the previous episode of Nose to Tail, a podcast where we explore the world of aviation lifecycle solutions, insights, and more. Presented by Jet Midwest.
Aviation in and of itself has got a lot of really good characters with a lot of really good stories. As we go through and work with our operators, which are really our clients, we have some really neat opportunities to interface or maybe a specific project that turned out either for better or for worse on something. Maybe there's something there that you could talk about.
The one project I will always remember is doing the flag certification for the company in Greensboro, Dynamic, because that was a project that seems to be so far-fetched. But we assembled a team and we set our sight on what we clearly wanted to accomplish, and we got it done. At the end of the day, the airline got certified for flag operation. We didn't use it, but it got completed. Yeah.
It's a pretty good journey. I do recall seeing you in that facility when I was visiting one time. Greensboro certainly is a beautiful place. It's not too bad of a place to be for 6 months.
Yeah.
Is your company stationed in Miami, or is everybody remote?
We are in Lakeland, Florida. We have about
Lakeland, okay.
10 people here in Lakeland, and everyone else is scattered throughout the U.S., and some are in international places as well.
When you work on a project, so let's say you're working on a project for somebody, are you sending a team of people? So if I'm going to go buy something from, say, Air New Zealand, am I sending your team on site, or is all of that work really done remotely?
Most of it is remote, unless it's a special request by our customer.
In the work environment, I know certainly aviation expertise, there's quite a few of us that are getting a little long in the tooth, and some of that expertise has been retiring. And I certainly see for our company, we really work hard to bring in fresh people and really train them on the Jet Midwest way and how we do things. How do you see the market on people that you're able to bring in, and either are you training people up to do the jobs? Or are you guys going out and seeking already seasoned people to plug into your organization to work on these projects?
We do both. So there's nothing like a blank canvas, right? I like to take people off the streets that come in and apply for a position that we may post. And if they don't have the experience, as long as they have the will to learn and their ambition is to apply themselves to a challenge, we're willing to train. So majority of our staff, they have come in and they learned what we have given them so far. And they're doing great at it. I can't complain about my team because they're excellent. That's what makes us successful, is our team. So there are projects that we might need subject matter experts on. So we do have a couple contractors that we keep in place for the more high-tech projects that we take on. And they're also great, whether we need them on site or we need them remotely. If they have projects that they're currently in, of course, we work with them on that. But we have our dedicated team that we've assembled. And so far, it's been great. I can't say there's a lot of people out there, Patrick, because sometimes you put a post and there's no one to hire.
Yeah.
And that's why we've invested so much in the people that we do have. It's because we are trying to bridge that gap with the lack that's out there in the industry.
I know for Jet Midwest and our companies, we've seen some solid growth here in the last 12 months with some more in front of us. And curious if you guys are experiencing the same thing, where there's an awful lot of aircraft and engine transactions happening. And there's certainly plenty of demand in the aviation market for complete assets. Are you guys seeing that same trend?
We are seeing it. It's just unfortunate that there's a whole lot of transactions going on, but some of them are on hold. I think this takes me back to 2020 when there's so much happening in the industry, but some people are just afraid to sign that dotted line to execute a contract, right? Or to proceed with purchasing because no one knows what the economy is going to be like. So I do see a lot of that. On the asset side, we're not really 100% into that much. I'm not sure if you know, but we support a lot more of the airline work. So not only are we departments for an airline, especially on the maintenance side, we also do, if there's a carrier out there that need help with accomplishing a project or their jobs, we have the people that we do offer to get them where they need to be.
Yeah, I'm just, certainly for us, we've been awful busy, and we've, as you're aware, we had to develop our own technical team over the last 8 or 9 years and really growing that. And like you guys, we're bringing in experts as we need them. And then we've got some other folks in there that came in with no experience that are really learning the methods that our team uses here in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask everybody this one, always curious of what your favorite aircraft is. And for some people, it's because it was the first aircraft that they worked on, or it was an aircraft that they loved the flying experience on. I had one gentleman who brought up helicopters and had his real passion for helicopters because of some experiences that he had. So I'm curious, Elizabeth, if you could pick a favorite aircraft, what would you pick and why would you pick it?
I picked the Boeing 707, and I would pick it because it's a sexy aircraft. When you look at it from nose to tail, it's one mean-looking aircraft.
Well, so I'm currently sitting in the ex-TWA overhaul base that we currently occupy. It was built by Howard Hughes. And when they built the base, it was pre-707, but they knew that the jet era was coming. And there were lots of 707s here, and certainly done maintenance on in these buildings that were really designed to handle the aircraft. I've certainly talked to some TWA mechanics over the years who are retired guys that tell great stories, and they tell a lot of stories about those airplanes. I might be incorrect. I can validate this myself, but I don't think they had APUs on them. And I heard stories about having an engine start problem, and they would just start an engine while it's running, take the starter off, and go to the engine that won't start, put the starter on it, and fire it up. And I thought, man, that's some feels like some cowboy stuff. But you know, those stories have probably been twisted a couple of times since they actually happened. So who knows whether those are really the truth or not?
Truth or not, yeah, exactly.
That's great. You know, you've never flown on one. I think they were pretty much out of service by the time I got around to taking my first flight. But we did buy a 707 many years ago that was a test bed airplane. And we bought basically what was left of it as one of our early teardowns. And it was a needled airplane, and it had inside of it a set of first-class seats that the onboard technicians would use. These were first class. They had to be from the earlier mid-70s, super psychedelic colors. And, you know, the cushions were a foot thick, you know, because that was comfort back then. It was really neat to kind of see that, you know, there was an airplane that was full of these things with people flying, you know, in maybe a little bit different of a jet era than we have today, you know, but to be a four-engine airplane is at that time, and it was state of the art, that's for sure.
There was a charter aircraft. That's when I did materials. So I was material support for them. And that airplane had everything. Beds, bathroom, you name it.
So that was a VIP 707?
Yes, it was. I think
That's
she's still
pretty cool.
sitting out there somewhere, parked in Opelika, maybe.
Was it someone famous that was that owned it, or was this? You said, oh, I guess it was charter, right? So it was anybody who could afford to ride on it.
Well, you know, David Bernstein, he owned it.
I don't.
It was awesome. It was if you ever get the chance to look at that aircraft, it would amaze you. I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot that amazes you already, but just that it, you know, it had everything you could ever think of.
Yeah, that's cool. We currently have a 747 SP in storage out on the ramp right now. That's a VIP airplane. And I'm sure there's some stories that happened in some of those things that don't get told. You know, you've done a kind of a variety of things in your career. Do you see yourself doing anything different, or are you just going to continue to drive your company and really stay in this technical field?
We definitely want to merge out to different areas. I am in talks with a couple of people right now to partner up and provide some services above the wing for now. There's other things as well, but I'm not at a point to talk about it. More bigger and better things are to come.
That's good to hear. That means that you're going to have to come back at that point, and then you can talk all about that one.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
So, Elizabeth, you had mentioned PB Expo to me earlier. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit for us.
Yes, so we're excited that we're going to be having a booth at the PB Expo in Miami next February. So it's our first time actually being out in the open and trying to, you know, expand our customer and also to provide our services to different carriers, different companies that may need our help.
I can certainly say from a trade show perspective and from a business development perspective, those opportunities to meet with such a variety of people in one space and time is pretty special. You know, my first trade show was the 2005 ACPC, and it was amazing to me after a couple of trade shows under my belt how willing everybody is to have open dialogues and really talk about what they do. And then when you talk about what you're doing and they say, I can't help you with that, or, I have a friend who's having a problem, maybe you can help him. And it was amazing how those networks are so friendly. You would think at times that they would be more cutthroat, right? Like, I'm doing business for me and I'm gonna hoard as much as I can. And it really isn't that way in the aviation world. People are really free flowing with it, and there truly are really awesome networking opportunities. So certainly I hope you guys go and expand your network and really find a new reach for yourselves, because, certainly the recommendations from people go so far, and hopefully it can take you guys to the next level.
Looking forward to it. And, I'm glad you talked about that networking and recommendation, because basically that's how we got to the point where we're at right now. It's definitely not for marketing or advertising as much, but, we did work for someone and they gave us a good recommendation to the next person that needed help. So
Yeah,
I am
absolutely.
looking forward to it.
I can also say the strength of your presence on LinkedIn, I think, is also a significant impact in the industry. Being in an industry whose employees are again, trying to make fun of everybody for being old, but we're an aging industry. And if you do go and survey our marketplace, LinkedIn is really the strongest communication platform that I've found. And I've been able to connect with a lot of people on there doing both the same things we're doing, as well as even searching for employees who may be looking for new opportunities. You can get a lot of connectivity very, very quickly. And again, that's the same style network, but obviously it can happen 24/7 on LinkedIn. I would always encourage you, if you guys haven't gone and done that, I would encourage you guys as a company to go and create that page. And you can use it as a landing spot, right? Like you said, you're almost always out in the marketplace looking for more talent or some experts. And it's pretty easy to go on and put a post up that says, hey, I'm looking for a Trent 700 expert to help us with a project. And you'll get a lot of recommendations. You'll get a lot of feedback from those posts. So, and if you send it to me, I'll forward it to everybody I know. How about that?
Check us out. We're on there. I'll just start tagging you.
All right. Send me a direct message. All right. And I'll make sure my whole network gets a direct message and get something out to the team. Okay.
Will do.
So Elizabeth, I think I understand what you do, but maybe you can give us clarity on exactly what the blocking and tackling is every day for you and your company.
We basically are a boutique in aviation. We have specialized services that we provide to our airlines and also to our asset management companies. We do a wide variety of things for the airlines, which our forte is records management. So we currently are providing records management for 3 airlines, which entails we have our designated staff that provides day-to-day routing and updating of their aircraft records. And then we do have our team that handles our projects, which is everything that the airline can't get to, or our asset management companies. With that, we also take on physical inspections, which we've been doing a couple of the midterm inspections for a couple of our business associates and enjoying it while we're doing it.
It's good. So when you have an asset management company versus an airline, what would you say is the biggest differentiator in how they operate? What's the difference really maybe in the work instruction? So maybe you can help us understand maybe the difference between those two styles of customers for you guys.
Definitely. For asset management companies, we're always drilling back down to the IATA format for records, right? For the airlines, it's more meeting the requirements of the federal regulations 121-380, which is current status. That's what we work on, is what does the airline have in place to meet the requirements of the FARs. For the asset management company, it has to be more incorporative of where the aircraft is going, where the asset is going. So is it local here in the US, or is it going to Europe, Asia? And at that point, you have to ensure that the records are reviewed for the IATA standard, because that's accepted.
It's certainly nice to have something to work towards. As an asset management company, we work towards the same target as you guys on that. And obviously having that standard set across the marketplace makes everybody's lives easier to have what you expect to get.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate you joining us here on the Nose to Tail podcast. And for all you out there in the podcast world, please go to YouTube and like and subscribe our channel so you stay up to date on everything Nose to Tail.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Nose to Tail. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Presented by Jet Midwest.